Hey everyone. Hello. I think uh, we meet once again. Just give me a second to check everything. Yeah, I think we are public. Everything is fine. Just one more thing. My audio can be a little bit distinct compared to video, but that's something I don't really want to tackle right now. Okay. Audio seems to be working fine. Video is on. So I think that for today, this will be a shorter stream. I don't think I'll be here for longer than maybe an hour. That depends, maybe even shorter. I think the goal for now is to just try and run a simple Arch installation, but this time with trying to make it work via grub. Uh, Yeah, mostly adding grub. This is not a secure installation. This is mostly for a convenient system setup that would work with BTRFS, um, snapshots, etc. Because I think that, I really have this gaming Archlinux setup in mind. And sadly, while you can make a gaming system from Arch, no problem. The convenience factor might be important for some people. And even I myself have found that when experimenting with a system, the BTRFS snapshots were quite cool, but they integrate the best with grub. I have kind of, tackled everything and worked everything without grub. It's not really, that complicated, but if you want to have it just seamlessly working and you don't really want to spend a lot of time in the CLI deciding or just finding out reading manuals how the hell do I do all of that manually, then sure, mm, working everything, making everything more convenient is the way to go. Okay, so it will take a minute, so let's start our ISO. And we'll just wipe the secure installation we've done previously. Like I said, I have a dedicated NVMe drive in my desktop PC, which will be hosting all of my Linux installations. Because as you know, if you were here previously on one of my previous streams, we have made some first baby steps into gaming for Arch. We have successfully installed the NVIDIA drivers. We have successfully run and benchmarked some games with some very interesting results nonetheless, which is why the gaming Arch is even more interesting to just, for the benchmarking aspect rather than just gaming on Linux aspect. I do have to say though that there have been a surprising influx of YouTubers that I've noticed that, try to speak their mind and opinion on gaming on Linux or just, Linux in general, and they have seriously no fucking idea what they are talking about. Which isn't really neither infuriating or, bad, but, you just see a video like that and, well, it's interesting to see. Okay, so, first of all, at least this time, I don't really have to look at my small Mac screen. This monitor is actually displaying all the capture I have from Elgato, so I'm pretty much seeing what I'm streaming, which is nice. Okay, so those are my drives in my system. And this time also, fortunately, the last one is the one I have my Linux partition on. How do I know that? I know that because it has first partition sized 1 gig, which is the EFI partition. I think one guy on Reddit suggested me something interesting and I wanted to check that out. So if I just quickly go to Reddit, if I go to Reddit and see one of the posts I've made on the Archlinux subreddit. By the way, this time the secure Archlinux tutorial completely tanked the Reddit aspect. So I think he told me to try the -f option in info about file system. I don't think I'll leak any sensitive info. Yep, VFAT, crypto, FAT32. Yeah, I guess it makes it more readable and quite possibly less confusing. Yo! I just saw your message in chat, but it disappeared. I'm not sure if it's the OBS or something else. Okay, so I guess first things first, I'll just wipe FS. -f def nvme2 and 1. Hooray. By the way, yes, I know if anybody will be, I don't know, watching this later and will be screaming at the screen, just use the arch install guided whatever. No. This is done on purpose. It's because I really want to understand every little aspect that is installed in the system. I know that with arch install I could pretty much streamline this within seconds, but we'll see. So by the way, I'll see how much of this guide I have to basically modify. Because for now we can get the partitioning done. So yeah, there is a guide, but that's for secure Arch Linux. If you want to, you can try that. It's pretty much a solid guide that I've made, I don't know, 4 years ago at this point. And by the way, if you are writing something in chat, do excuse me if I read your messages with a slight delay. My setup is not quite as perfect as I would like it to be. So yeah. Jesus, I wish YouTube had like some more streamlined, better companion app for streaming. So you on Twitch too? You know, kinda. I used to basically dual stream. The problem is that first of all, the dual streaming is it turned out to work half of the time because I basically set up my my own Nginx streaming service, which is practically it's not that complicated, but there were some shenanigans, and all in all, I don't really have any audience on Twitch, and YouTube has better. It has better quality when it comes to VODs, right? So the streams you do on Twitch basically live only for the time you are online on Twitch, and after that, pretty much Twitch gives you nothing. And on YouTube, there's always that aspect that if the stream you were doing was interesting, or somebody may want to watch it later, then definitely YouTube is way better for that. So I might go back to dual streaming Twitch and YouTube, but for now, this is like YouTube only. Gaming with Arch, damn, yeah, this is not the gaming part yet. No, I meant right now because I heard you talking to chat. Sorry, please continue. I mean, I kind of understand the confusion because at some point I did try to push the Twitch and promote that, but for now, this is the one and only chat. Okay, so wipefs is done. We need to do the partitioning. I never remember. Okay, so I use gdisk NVMe2 and 1. Yep, the partition is stable, is erased, so we will make like, I would say for gaming, 2 gigs, because those kernels can be quite big in size if you add NVIDIA driver. Okay, and the next partition will basically take the remaining space. Hooray. Okay, so once again, this will be pretty easy. Yeah, codes are done, MKFS. We are doing FAT32, dev, NVMe2 and 1, partition 1. And I don't think we'll be tackling the LVM, it's not really needed, so we'll just MKFS, BTRFS, def NVMe2 and 1 P2. Perfect. So I guess now we can mount everything into a file system. So once again, I mean LSBLK is my biggest friend. Mount def NVMe2 and 1 P2 into /mnt, and then we'll mount the, oh no, I need to make directories. So mkdir -p mnt boot, and what was the path? EFI. And into that I will mount def NVMe2 and 1 P1 mnt boot EFI. Perfect. Okay, so the good question is, because this is something I did run into when making the secure Archlinux tutorial, I thought that Arch maybe changed up something, but Pacman SY, I think that maybe Arch changed something, but I think it wasn't necessarily the issue. Basically, the Pacman had some issues with the GDP keyring being initiated. So GPD, Jesus, whenever the English shortcuts are involved, my brain just turns off. Basically, the keyring initialization, I think the system didn't have enough entropy during the initial ISO initialization. So we will see, because I do have a workaround for that, but we will see whether it will throw an error. So the system is basically ready for pack strapping. So we will do /mnt base. And now I'm just like listing the packages. So base package, Linux firmware. I will also add Linux headers. So we have the headers already for our system. AMD Ucode, because I have a Ryzen CPU. Sudo vim. I will add Dracut because I am familiar with it. SB sign tools, that's for secure boot. Do I really need secure boot at the moment? Okay. I don't think I'll be complicated this. So definitely git, definitely AFI boot manager, bin utils. I think bin utils is included in the base package, but it doesn't hurt. Definitely network manager, grub. So the question here is whether it's grub or how is it named in how is it named in Archlinux? So first of all, let's see here. Blah blah blah. I'm basically I don't remember what's the correct package name because I do remember some systems differentiate between grub and grub version 2. Grub 2. Provides, replaces. Okay. After crashing 6 to 7 times Arch and Cache, I used Bazite without any problems. Bazite has a bunch of scripts for many important setup stuff. I have no idea what Bazite is. I mean, installing Arch is not really that difficult if you like spend 1 or 2 days learning about that. I do have to say that many things that come pre-installed with Linux are not necessarily bloat, but are just, you know, a massive projects that provide a little convenience, which is very interesting. Okay, so I think it will be just grub. Do I need anything else? Systemd. We'll go with, oh yeah, sorry, because that will replace Dracket. So yeah, so we can try going with systemd Yukify. Okay, so maybe just grub for now. For now, just grub. No, systemd, because I don't think this comes pre-installed. Okay, so now it will definitely download the packages, but still there is, yeah, the GPG. How many years have I been using Linux? For daily driver, Linux is terrible as a daily driver, but for work, I've been using it for, I don't know, 10 years. I am sorry to say, but if you ask me, Linux will never be a desktop operating system, like a mainstream one. So it's not necessarily something I would use as a daily driver, but as a work daily driver, as a work thing, 10 years or so. I am a bit controversial in that aspect. I've been running Arch on my laptop for, I don't know, 4 years. And before that, I was mainly using Debian. Mostly because I do have this philosophy of using the systems I am working with. So in my previous workplace, we've been mainly using Debian. So I was using Debian. Okay, yep, the GPG is initialized. So now this should pass without any errors. Oh, damn. Do you need to check out the Bazite? Then what kind of work do you do? I am a system and network administrator in a high performance computing data center. So this is a place that mostly does Linux. You say check out Bazite. I will check what that is. The next generation of Linux gaming. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I know what that is. So this is basically like I want to say a distro. Yeah. Interesting, but as somebody who has uh I have tons of questions about that project, and I don't necessarily mm, because basically this is probably a fork of some other major distro. I mean, it has to be. Nobody is making a distro on their own these days, which basically means this is pretty much a pre-installed distro with some pre-installed packages, which, if you ask me, instantly make this not interesting, because all of those distros, those offshoots, basically fragment the community, and in doing so, they pretty much split the manpower from other major supported distros. So I would much rather have my gaming setup done on a standard distribution rather than on some, offshoot one. Okay, so the Pacman has successfully installed everything. So I think I can. I just need to verify quickly. Yeah, I can arch root into /mnt. Hooray! So I will install man, as I pretty much always do in my rooted environment. Oh, it also wants me to initialize the Pacman key. Interesting. Hooray. You blue from further. Oh, okay. So it's like okay. I mean, it's interesting how nowadays distros pretty much mean nothing because there are just clones of bigger distros. There's like 5 major distribution of Linux, and I think, and aside from that, there's pretty much nothing. Everything is a copy of that. Okay, let's set up some passwords. And I will say that I will be mainly flying blind here because my secure Archlinux guide only goes as far as I want to make some modifications. Oh, I maybe unnecessarily have done that sys2h to hardware clock, but we'll see. Definitely I want locales. So we will go with some British locales, but also a proper US ones. Okay, I don't really want to touch the keyboard. I'll set up my host name. And I will add my non-root user. Oh yeah. Now the user, the sudo. You use yes. I use Arch, by the way. I use Windows. I use FreeBSD on my PlayStation 5 and on maybe 2 other VMs at work I have. I use many operating systems if you think about it. All of us are using many different operating systems. Oh yes, systemctl enable network manager. It's so retarded that this needs to be proper letter capitalization done here. Otherwise, it will have no idea what unit I'm trying to enable. Okay, so at this point, the system is bootstrapped, but it will not boot because in our boot EFI we have nothing. We have no EFI kernel image or whatever. So systemd is it installed? I think it's installed. Pacman q grep systemd. It is. So sadly, this is the part where I have to Google stuff and basically learn. So kernel image, blah, blah, blah. So typically I was doing this with Dracut. And for Dracut, I basically wrote many scripts that were doing things. But as I said at the intro to the stream, I want to make this more convenient. So I would like to everything to happen almost, automagically without any script modification and stuff like that. So I want to have the most streamlined route possible while also understanding what is actually installed in the system. So combination, yes. Preparing unified. Okay, MK init CPO will assemble UK itself unless is installed, in which case will be offloaded to UKify unless this is explicitly disabled. Interesting. So if UKify will handle this, then there's no need to install mkinit CPO. So we are skipping this. Building, blah, blah, blah. Dracut, okay, so we were doing that basically in the secure Archlinux. Okay, UKify, install system the UKify package. Since UKify cannot generate initramfs on its own, if required, it must be generated using Dracut mk. But you just said that if I have this, then this. Okay, wait. So UKify cannot generate initramfs. But mkinit will assemble. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what's happening. So basically, systemd UKify is only assembling everything into unified kernel image, but it still needs the underlying stuff to generate the things that it will assemble later on. Interesting. So example, Dracut, mkinit CPO or booster. What is booster? Manually. Yeah, no thank you. But what is booster? Is a fast initramfs generator similar? Booster is inspired by... Okay, by the way, what was the... Just to be honest, I don't remember. It's easy to use. Oh, so system deboot is just a boot manager. Okay. So how viable is the booster? This package installation will generate blah blah blah, one per installed kernel, okay. Located in the boot directory. Configuration is located YAML, there is no configuration, early module loading. Encryption, systemd style binding. Okay. Because what I really want to avoid, and this is why I'm basically looking for anything else, is with MK init CPO, it seems like there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done manually. And I am wondering whether that can be skipped basically. Because this looks like something I am, I've also been doing in Dracat. To be honest, Dracat can do everything. Dracat can generate unified kernel image. Basically, Dracat would only need the maybe systemd boot. So, okay, so maybe let's give the booster a try. Why not? At least it's something new. Booster provides the US Serving Booster Space tool responsible for generation. The generated, okay, so this is what? Configuration. Booster generator configuration lives at etc booster YAML. So, I guess if we just install booster, it may provide us with some ready file with some sane configs. The file is empty. So for example, if you need kernel mod setting blah blah blah, I mean, to be honest, I also would like to maybe check how is this, what is this written in? You should just use Debian and move on with your day, honestly. I wish I could. I am a big Debian supporter. The problem is if you have like bleeding edge GPU, which in my case is 5070 Ti, you may want to have the latest kernel possible so that the drivers are compatible with it. So, if you are running Debian, the Debian has, I think, Debian 11 was on kernel 5, Debian 6, I think, I don't, Debian 12, I'm not sure if it's on kernel 6 yet. But, if you are running the latest GPU, then sadly, Arch and other distros like that are the way to go. Sir, can you help me? I am a freelancer and the client gave me a project and told me that he is facing errors while starting the application, so I downloaded the code base, ran the code, and now I have a Trojan on my computer. I think you self-diagnosed yourself pretty well this time. I think if you read your message again, slowly. Jesus, this is a lot of manual to read through. I shan't be doing that on stream, definitely. No, okay, so it actually is kinda interesting. Uh, ls usr lib modules. Oh, yeah, I know why. Because it's trying to build for the kernel that we are running in the chroot, and not that it's installed from the mainline package. I tried Windows Defender offline scan malware bytes and keyword and also unable to detect it. Uh, is so you are running Windows, right? If you are running Windows, you might be interested in Process Explorer. That's a downloadable tool, which basically can list all of process you have running in your system. But it also has this very cool option. I think it was called Process Explorer. It has this option where it basically submits hash of each process running in your system to basically VirusTotal or whatever, and that basically checks whether you have either a compromised process with a non-standard hash, or or basically if something is out of the ordinary. Thinks you should contact the free Microsoft support. Yeah. It was 2 months back, the client and the project both are deleted from the freelancer platform. I mean, to be honest, if you're serious, you just need to format everything, because you sadly can never be sure. Mm. Booster generator config files located at etc booster. Here's a sample config file. So if it's a sample, Jesus, I cannot spell. Then why is it not in that? Okay, network interfaces, DHCP. Why does it need my network configuration? Universal false, modules, compression, mount timeout 5 minutes 6 seconds, strip through extra files. Probably extra files to include in the kernel image. vconsole, enable LVM, enable mdride. Interesting. What DE will you use? What's a DE? Oh, sorry, desktop environment. I'm just not used to using shortcuts. KDE Plasma. I've been using that on my previous streams. It works quite well. It has pretty much everything working, and it uses Wayland, and it integrates with the latest NVIDIA pretty well. You can pretty much see in the NVIDIA SMI that KDE Plasma is utilizing the GPU acceleration. Okay, so how do I actually point the booster to build a specific version? Not just the one that I'm running, because I think this is the one information that I'm lacking. Yes, kernel version. This is USR, was it lib and modules? Yes, so build 615 to arch1-1 and output oh, it already did build it. So it's like 4 megs in size. That's quite small. My girlfriend almost tripped over while trying to walk out of the room. That's really small. Something's not quite right. So the interesting thing is the system the Yukify smart enough to basically detect the booster and basically just run everything that it needs by itself? Oh my, I can feel that this is a big stinker. I don't necessarily want it to be quiet. Okay. I am really, really curious whether we'll be able to boot from that. What the fucking hell? Okay, so... so first I will move everything to the EFI partition. Girlfriend and Arch user, yeah, I know. I'm a professional Arch user. I think that's the difference. If you earn money with that, then, you know, all of the memes stop applying. Can you still tell that it's a girlfriend or is it a femboy? That's the true question. So I have moved everything into EFI. But this will not be enough because we do not have the boot x64 EFI basically. Boost Linux IMG. Okay, have I like so I will clean everything. Yeah, because we still need to install grub. Okay, so grub will handle that. So first, let's regenerate all of that. But I will point it to the EFI. No such file directory, boot EFI VM Linux. Yeah, there wasn't a directory like that previously also, so what's your problem? Okay. Has Booster made any things like that? Created files? No. Unable to access file is a directory. Am I missing something? Do I not understand something about those tools? Hmm. So why did it succeed previously? It was supposed to be empty. Oh, also interestingly enough, by the way, I will reinstall that. Oh, so something did. Let's try reinstall the Linux package. Okay, something is building the initramfs, so it's already... So, okay. Command failed to execute correctly. So I guess that already some Pacman hooks have been pre-installed. The question is, how does it work now? Okay, so it's trying to use MK in its CPIO. So maybe let's remove the booster. Mm. So it's already installed. Yep. Interesting. Which command actually, and where did it fail? No FSCK helpers found. ZSTD compressed. Errors were encountering during the build. The image may not be complete. Using default file. Actually, I'm interested. What has triggered the MK init CPIO to be installed? The UEFI? Maybe. Hmm. Okay, so now I will move that VM Linux into boot EFI, but that structure should be a bit different. So I think I still need to make basically grub install everything. Grub, how how was the grub initialized? Bum bum bum. Mount the FE partition, choose bootloader identifier, here name grub. Directory of that name will be created in ESP EFI to store EFI binary. Execute the following command, grub install. Okay. Okay. Exactly. Okay, I'm not interested in secure boot at the moment. Hmm. Found, found, found. OS prober will not be executed. Systems will not be added to group boot configuration. Okay, I don't necessarily want my Windows to be dual booted from grub. Adding boot menu entry. So first of all, it ignored the UKFI completely and just found whatever is in the in the slash boot, which is fine. That is acceptable. So now, when I reboot, I should be able to boot into the system because right now I am running in root in the Arch install from the Arch ISO. But I still And it did say that it's added the EFI boot entries. Let's try that. Let's try what will happen. So we have Windows, we have Grub, and we have the Arch ISO. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. Is it better? Not necessarily. Okay, so we have Archlinux advanced options and UEFI firmware settings. So let's just go with the Archlinux. Loading Linux, loading RAM disk. It works, ladies and gentlemen. So now, so now I will need to live with this for the next few days. Okay, so I will install one more thing because that's also interesting. Pacman -s NVIDIA open DKMS. Those are basically the NVIDIA drivers. And the question is whether it will rebuild everything and make it work. By the way, as you can see, we have pretty much done zero configuration within, like, you know, manipulating the config files and stuff like that. Everything just works after the installation. You just need to know what to install. Yep, it's rebuilding the image. So I think we'll be fine. But why is that? Why error? Error, command failed to execute correctly. So is it like reporting that because it's warning me about possible missing firmware? But it did build the system image. I mean, this to be honest, this is not acceptable. It should just work. So maybe it needs a little tweak in configuration to just, you know, stop treating warnings as errors. Or maybe I need to deep dive more deeply to find what the hell is going on. Early uncompressed CPIO image generation successful. Image generation successful. Error command failed to execute correctly. Okay, but for now we will reboot once more, just to make sure that the kernel with the DKMS is loaded. And after that, we'll install the KDE Plasma. We will see whether everything is working correctly when it comes to the hardware support for GPU. And then we'll maybe try to quickly debug why the hell is kernel building giving us the error message at the very end. Yeah, just all the default settings. And install. Interesting. Installing the KDE. Oh yeah, probably because of Flatpak also rebuilds the system image. Okay. So since the system image has been rebuilt, I will also reboot this once again. But now, what the hell was this KDE Plasma startup command? I will show you what I mean in a second. Oh, so maybe instead of doing that, I may also need some login manager. To be honest, okay, maybe not, because to be honest, I really like this one. I mean, I basically really like logging in like this, because this way you can't possibly fuck anything up. So basically, if you mess around with uh, GPU drivers or stuff like that, it is possible that the system will fail to initialize after you start the graphical environment. This way, it almost always works. So you can always like get to this stage and basically, I don't know, run, and I will show you what command. Basically this. And then you can decide where the problem lies, right? So at this stage, I will leave it like that, and I will just create a simple script that does just that. So vim kde plasma sh. Yes, I know I'm not using env. usr lib plasma dbus run session if needed. USR bin start plasma Wayland. I hope I haven't made any typos. Make this executable and ladies and gentlemen, we got it. So there is, okay, and I guess I can feel that the NVIDIA is on, but I will verify that. Oh shit, so I haven't installed any terminal emulator, but that's not a problem. The problem is that, you know, for you it's tiny, but for me it's just as tiny as this is for you. I think, oh yeah, we'll install console. Install from FlatHub. Yeah, it will be done soon. TM, but you know, you pretty much just witnessed Archlinux installation being done, you know, almost effortlessly, I want to say. I would say that the wiki, the Arch wiki, is a very good knowledge resource for some more advanced topics. The problem is not many people necessarily need to delve into those advanced topics. And where maybe 10 years ago, running systems like Arch in production in enterprise or, you know, at workplace was more common, and maybe then it needed stuff like that. Nowadays, I don't think many people run Arch in production at work. Okay. So no NVIDIA SMI. What was the... So you won't be using any greeter. Like I said, because I did run into this problem. if you install mm, uh, wrong version of drivers, especially in NVIDIA case, there are, if you like, maybe, I don't know, make a mistake and you install the non-open but the proprietary one, it will not work with the kernel. It will only work with proper signed kernels that have been built and supplied to you as a binary due to, you know, what's the word for that? DRM and stuff. Then it will be, then if you have everything run automatically, there is a chance that you will basically, I want to say, soft lock yourself from the system. But if you always have like a very streamlined access to the TTI, then it's simpler to just, dig your head out of that pile of shit you've dug yourself into. I may experiment more with the login manager later on. It's sad that KDE doesn't supply one on their own. I know GNOME does that in their meta package. They basically come with some login pre-installed, login manager. But for now, I may leave it at that. I also want to experiment some with BTRFS. Okay, so NVIDIA SMI. Where was NVIDIA SMI? It was NVIDIA Tools? NVIDIA Utils. If you are wondering why I am installing NVIDIA Utils, if you have NVIDIA GPU or CUDA device, this is I want to say, the single most important tool. It's rebuilding the image once again. Interesting. But it should work without anything else. SMI. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so it has detected so first of all, the NVIDIA SMI works. It has detected the GPU, but typically what I'm used to seeing here is that this should show me that KDE has some processes that are using the GPU. And here there are no running processes found. So I will try and reboot the PC and see, maybe after reboot, maybe there were some changes in the kernel, in the kernel image. How do I quit Vim? Very simply, just turn off your computer. How do you quit VI? That's the question. By the way, I'm very happy to see so many people tune into the stream. I think this is a record. I do have to say that I find it pretty hilarious that so many people wanted to watch Arch being installed live. What I really would like to show you, and I think it may happen later this year, or maybe at the end of the year, my institution will be getting a new supercomputer, quite possibly. It's not definite, but it may happen. I would really love to show and record the process of installing and running a new supercomputing cluster in a data center. I think that would be pretty sweet if that could happen. It works. And Wayland and the desktop environment has full acceleration from the GPU. So it's not necessarily visible on the stream with the capture card, but if I were running everything live, there is a definite difference in running desktop environment with and without the main GPU acceleration, even if it's just the mouse movement. So it's definitely it can definitely be felt. How to learn Bash scripting and learn POSIX in depth. Bash scripting, write scripts. POSIX, my answer is not really liked by many people, but go to university. Take the computer science course. Spend your 4 or 5 years of your life studying. That, in my opinion, that's the one and only way. I don't believe in boot camps. I don't believe in Udemy courses. I don't believe in any of that. Sorry. I do have one Udemy course available, but I'm not trying to peddle it or sell it. It's just something I've done as a proof of concept. So just to be completely clear, but sadly, I would say university education is one of the best you can get to properly learn everything. It basically teaches you everything top to bottom. Not necessarily you have to calculate integrals while doing Linux stuff, but trust me, that knowledge comes in hand. Okay. So, what else can we install to make this more pleasurable experience? I would say probably the login manager. I mean, we can, right? So, what's the go-to login manager? Oh yeah, I don't have the web browser. So I will go with Firefox. Oh, yeah, obviously. I think we have to try at least one game. I am not sure if I will be able to, because by the way, I pretty much on my previous streams, I have come to a point where I can just run Steam games and GOG games and Epic Store games, and just works. I do have to say that Steam is a bit better in that regard. So Steam has a launcher that can be launched, right? GOG, I would say, is even better, but there aren't many games that you can just download as Linux executables. There are some games that you can buy on GOG that can do that. But there are some projects, I don't really remember the names, that are basically overlays or, like another abstraction layer that streamline you getting the games from other platforms, and they basically streamline the launching process, quite possibly via Steam Proton or whatever. The problem is that you are using untrusted third party to pass your credentials to your game store to do everything for you. So there is a lot of questions regarding trust in this chain. So I wouldn't really be, if I am making a material for YouTube, and even though, my channel is quite small, I don't necessarily get tons of views, but there are some videos that have exploded. If I were to recommend people a method for easily gaming on Arch, Steam, sure, whatever. Install like I have just done from FlatHub. But GOG and other platforms, if I wanted to install like some native client for browsing and stuff like that, recommending anything like that can be pretty tricky. Okay, so the Steam is installed and Firefox is installed. I do remember that there is still this error with the kernel image building, but I think I'll leave that for another time. So yeah, we just need to put a little bow on this on top. I do wonder if I'll be able to log on to Steam. By the way, I think looking at my YouTube statistics for the stream, as soon as I said that university is the way to go, I think I saw like 10 people drop out from the stream. Okay, so let me just, for the safety, um, mhm. So let me try and log on to the Steam account. So I think I will classically go with the Talos principle. No, not my friends. So let's just have it download. Let's try and run it. Let's see if everything's running fine. Let's run the benchmark. And that will be it for today. I think if time allows and I will have enough energy, because recently I've been so tired, I wasn't really able to stream or make videos at as high tempo as I would want it to, then I will probably want to stream some more the BTRFS tomfoolery. I want to see if I can just, if the BTRFS really integrates as seamlessly with Grab as they advertise it to, because that will also be very handy if you are trying some stuff in Archlinux and just want to fool around. Okay. So how do you play Epic games? Uh, the the meme answer would be you don't. But the serious answer is that there is a project. I can't remember my name. I think if you go to my previous stream and just click around, you'll see that I am using it to play GOG, because it's basically an overlay that's for GOG and Epic Game Store that basically acts the same way the Steam app works. Basically, it gives you a front end through which you can download and run games from GOG and Epic. I wonder how many people have started to build their game libraries on the Epic Game Store. Extras benchmark. Okay, so we will give it the full 60 seconds. And this benchmark last time was quite finicky. Average FPS 180, 200. Oh, maybe I'll give you. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. So it is running like 400 FPS, but interestingly, last time uh, Windows had better score because I was basically switching between Linux and Windows. 418. Interesting. So definitely, because I do have uh, so I do have my old scores written down on those tables. Yes, I know I'm an old guy that still uses a pen. And last time on Linux we were getting, which is very weird, 55 to 54 FPS, and then one time we got like a proper 383 FPS from this benchmark on Linux. And on Windows we got 432 FPS. Which means for some reason now it's behaving way better than it did last time on Linux, but quite possibly it's still worse than Windows. Still not bad, and definitely confirms that everything has been installed and is working properly. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching me install Arch Linux live on the internet. And I hope I'll see you next time. So have a good night. Bye.